like super janky how they get people to the future. And then at one point, it shuts off altogether. They can't get people to the future. And I'm like, that just, I don't know. That seemed like kind of dumb to me. If you're going to have this whole like future war, figure out how to get to the future, you know?
Greetings, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Heroes Peak podcast. This is your entertainment, culture, and whatever the hell we feel like podcast. I'm your host, Chris. As always, with my wonderful friends today with me, I have the queen of the pod, Brookesie. How are you doing, Brookesie?
I'm doing great. Thank you for calling that out, Chris, because I cannot figure out how to change my name on this new meeting format we have. So I'm glad that you reminded everybody that I am the queen of the podcast. Thank you.
That's right. That's right. And I guess the knight of the round table of the pod, is it Keith? How you doing, Keith?
Cheers, folks. Happy to be back with you.
That's right.
We're happy to have you back.
We'll go into that in a second. I was just going to say, and our behind the scenes jester, the funniest man we know of the pod, is Mike. How you doing, Mike?
I'm good. And in honor of our missing comrade, James, I'm changing my F9 grade to A+.
That's right. All future Snyder projects will be required to be A+.
That's right.
I mean, A+ is really the only acceptable grade for any Fast and the Furious movie anyways.
That's right. And so Keith, how was your vacation?
Oh, it was great. Turks and Caicos is probably one of the most expensive places I've been in my life. Just like I thought it was just tourist prices, but just like everywhere, like for everyone.
So no pandemic specials going on?
No. No. there was none of that. But yeah, no, beautiful beaches, did some snorkeling, hung out with the old lady. Yeah, it was a good time. Good times to have a home.
It's great. Great. I'm actually taking a road trip to Florida in a week and a half. No, a week. 1 week. So
nice.
So what are you up to, Brooks? Before we get into the pod, do a quick. What are you guys doing this week? Yeah, you.
Let's see. This week, nothing exciting planned. Just to plan on working on my tan, laying out at the pool. You know, the usual LA lifestyle. Keith has inspired. Seriously.
Somebody's a hater.
Keith has inspired me to start planning a vacation because I realized that I have not taken a vacation since I want to say like December of 2019. So I'm looking at Guatemala and Belize.
Are you doing like eco tour, or is it like?
It's a save the world, tree hugging, vegan eating tour.
Yeah. That's what I figured. I figured
it's do it.
Vegan core nonsense. But the I've actually been interested in seeing like Guatemala. Not so much, but
it was Belize that hit my radar first, actually.
Some beaches maybe, but
yeah, they have some really great beaches. Mostly it hit my radar because of 90 Day Fiance. If you watch 90 Day Fiance, it's true.
Is this a hit? You're going to be on 90 Fiance or something like that? Belize?
I'm actually going to be on 90 Day Fiance.
Look out for me coming soon. I'll be on 90 Day Fiance. Yeah. My boyfriend doesn't know. Don't tell him.
Mike, are you up for a vacation at some point?
Yeah, actually in 2 weeks I'm headed out to Vancouver for a week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Vancouver in the summer.
Yeah, we're gonna visit friends out there. Go to Vancouver Island, spend a week out there.
Awesome.
Is that on the same side of Canada that you currently live on?
No.
Okay. Are you on the
Vancouver's
Toronto side? I literally only know 2 cities in Canada.
Oh, and
so
everybody
Toronto.
knows 2 cities in Canada.
Toronto is like the center east of Canada, and Vancouver is the west coast.
Yeah, I've been to both, by the way.
But
Oh, you have?
What?
I have.
Okay. Yeah, Vancouver's right
Yeah.
by Seattle.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
All
So-
right, so yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, to get us started, we are going to be doing Brookesie Bites. We're going to be doing America, the Motion Picture, and the Tomorrow War are our 3 topics of the day.
Seen both of
And
them.
so to get nice, everybody did their homework. So to get right to it, we're going to let Brookesie take right over in our Brookesie Bites segment. What are you going to talk about this week?
Right away.
What are you going to surprise us with?
Our Miss Brooks is presented each week through the worldwide facilities of the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.
Right. For Brooksie's Bites this week, I am going to be talking about the 20th and final season of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. One of
20
the
seasons?
20
I know.
seasons.
That is crazy.
Yo,
Yep. It is
Wow,
one of
that's
the
like-
quintessential reality TV shows that changed the landscape of television forever.
It's nuts.
I'll
So
take
who
your word
on the
on that one.
podcast who on the podcast keeps up with the Kardashians?
I can't
Definitely
say
not me.
do.
So
That's all right.
I keep up with basketball, so in as much as the ones that
Yeah.
are dating basketball players. Yeah. So
That is
like,
fair. So currently, Kendall Jenner is
Yep.
dating Devin Booker.
yeah.
Of the
Which I think is
Phoenix
his only hurdle to really get in the championship.
I mean, he cleaned up last night. So, well, actually, Chris Paul really cleaned up.
Chris Paul has been shouldering a lot of the work. Like he's definitely happy to be there in the finals. But like I'm just saying, like it's not over and she's still there. Like there is a curse.
Well, I think we all know on the podcast, at least, who the real, like, true curse is, which is James.
Yeah, he
Obviously.
almost destroyed the Bucks last time we
I
were
know.
talking on a pod.
We joke about it, but the dude is literally lethal, yo. Like it's
Yeah.
like
Like,
please don't be a
He
fan.
literally says, I'm now a fan of the Bucks and I'm rooting for Giannis. And 5 minutes later, Giannis goes down with a knee injury.
His knee,
You can't make this
just
up.
straight leaves his body.
Yeah.
If we zoomed in on that video, you might see James's face in his knee as it goes the opposite direction.
Definitely. All right. So, a couple of quick facts about Keeping Up with the Kardashians. It
All right, give it to
debuted
us.
October 14th, 2007 on E, and it is created by Ryan Seacrest. So,
Oh, it was created by
um,
Ryan Seacrest? That dude's
Yeah.
everywhere.
So they being Kris Jenner, who is the mom, and Kim Kardashian, I think they were like homies with Ryan Seacrest already. And they said, we have this great idea for a reality TV show. You should film our family. We're a lot of fun, blah, blah, blah. So Ryan Seacrest.
Yeah, but why
apparently-
was him in the spotlight to begin with?
Because he had the ability to like create a reality show where
No, why was Kim in the spotlight?
Oh, why was Kim?
Oh, Kim.
Hold on,
I
I'm
thought
getting
you-
there.
Okay.
I thought you
okay.
said him. Yeah.
I seem
thought
to
you
recall a tape going around the internet at the
Mhm.
time.
That is true. So it is currently E's most lucrative show, but in the beginning, little known fact, they didn't even have a budget for hair and makeup, which I personally related to. So I just wanted to put that fact
Well,
out there.
after I stopped producing that show, then all of a sudden they decided it was time. So
Yep. So it stars the daughters and son of Robert Kardashian, who is famous for defending O.J. Simpson after the murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman, who famously like got off from those murders. So
Like, I don't watch the show, but I always see the headlines of what they're doing.
course.
Oh yeah, well, what happens
So
in the show?
I don't need to watch the show, right? But
As much as I hate to admit it, the Kardashians are it's cultural moment too.
well, they can
They
thank
are.
Paris Hilton for that, for one. You know,
Well,
That is what. See, this is why I tell everybody, like, yo, that was the sweetest. Yo, that was the sweetest, like, slingshot job I've ever seen in media, yo. Like, literally, Nikki and Paris
uh-huh.
were on their way to be exactly what Kim
Yeah.
Kardashian is right now. But
Yeah.
and I don't credit Kim for this. I really credit her mom because I think she crafted this whole thing, and I think she crafted it expertly. But like friending them up, they introduced her. Like they literally introduced her to the set. Like we first saw Kim Kardashian with Paris and Nikki. Like she was initially just their friend.
Mhm.
Had her little
Yeah.
tape. Did the little Ray J tape. Bang. Cultural icon.
So I only I'm only gonna list the high level people that it features consistently throughout the 20 seasons. And that is Kris Jenner, obviously, the matriarch of the family, Kourtney Kardashian, the oldest daughter, Kim Kardashian, the second oldest daughter, who, as we all said, was best friends with Paris Hilton, and a personal stylist for Brandy, who is Ray J's brother, and that's how her and Ray J met.
Sex tape.
And then Khloe Kardashian, who's the youngest daughter of Robert and Kris Jenner. Excuse me. And then Robert Kardashian Jr. And then it also features the daughter of Caitlyn Jenner, formerly Bruce Jenner, the Olympian, and Kris Jenner, Kendall Jenner, who is a model, and Kylie Jenner, who, as we all know, is famous for her lips and her lip kit, her fake lips and her lip kit. So,
what those lips do?
What?
What those lips do? What's just because they're big, or
What's
what's
those
the
lips
deal?
do?
No, because they are fake. So she kind of started, I don't know that she started, but she made it very popular to do like the big fake lip thing.
They call them Paris lips.
Yes.
Yeah, she's kind of the one that sort of set that whole trend off, and now all the formerly lipless people have these like big duck lips happening, and I don't know.
Oh man,
it's kind of wild.
But I heard you can do that with a vacuum cleaner tube, right?
Oh my gosh, they have like videos where you can get this thing that like you suck on and it makes your lips. I don't know. There's like,
all right, let's move on.
There's so many different ways. Like either just get the injections if you're gonna do it. And it also spawned a ton of spin-offs. So I'll just quickly run through them. Kourtney and Kim take Miami, The Spin Crowd. Kourtney and Kim take New York, Khloe and Lamar, Lord Disick. Kourtney and Khloe take the Hamptons, I Am Kate, The Dash Dolls, Cocktails with Khloe, Rob and China, Revenge Body with Khloe Kardashian, Life of Kylie, and
never
Flip
heard
It
of
Like
most of
Disick.
these.
Wow.
I unfortunately have.
Wow.
So
these all aired on E?
Yes. The
Wow.
longest.
Wow.
So it's like the Kim
Kourtney-
Kardashian channel.
Pretty much for a while.
Damn.
Yeah. So Kourtney and Kim Take Miami aired for 3 seasons. Everything else was 1 or 2 seasons. So nothing like, you know, that nothing that went 20 seasons like the original Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Oh, Seacrest is a genius. Damn.
He's a genius. Yeah. So
and a billionaire.
And probably a billionaire. So because it was the last season of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, at least on E, apparently they have signed a deal with Hulu and they're doing something on Hulu, but nothing that has been released yet. So they did a 2-part reunion show with Andy Cohen, who Andy Cohen is on Bravo normally. He is famous for the Housewives series. He's the creator and producer behind that. And so after every season of every of the Housewives, all of the different franchises, they always do a reunion show. So he did a reunion show with, it was Kim, Courtney, Chloe, Kylie, Kendall, and Chris. And then Scott Disick came and made an appearance. So that's who he did the what's it called? The reunion with. So this is what I wanted to focus on because I thought it was really interesting because they did admit some things that they've kind of like kept under wraps or not really talked about before. So one of them being, Andy obviously asked Kim, do you think the sex tape is the reason the show is so popular? And she was like, absolutely, of course, like can't deny that. And the
Mike,
reason,
I think you know what you have to do.
What?
put up a little
No,
thing of the
you
tape.
need to take one for the team and release a sex tape.
I already did. It just didn't do so well.
I already did it.
But you can find it if you really want to.
Yeah, take one for the team and release the sex tape. Bro.
That got awkward. Then let's see. So Kylie, Andy asked Kylie about her lips, like why she started to get them done, because she obviously went from having no lips to like really big lips, and then became super famous for her lip kits, which made her a billionaire actually. And she said because
Did it
she did
though?
yeah, apparently it did.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't question Forbes. She said because she like kissed a boy and the boy said, you're a good kisser, but you have no lips. And so she went out and got lips. So Chris is like, well, we should name a lip kit after that boy because he's the one that inspired these lip kits and made you a billionaire. But I just want to say, ladies, don't listen to what men say and do not let them make you insecure of your bodies at all.
Did they?
Okay?
Listen, try to make $1 billion.
I know. It's true. It's true.
I
That's
mean, I don't
cheeky.
think most changes to your body will make you a billionaire. That's probably pretty rare. Be my
Right.
guess. Just a guess.
Chloe did have a nose job, in case you all are wondering, because I certainly was. I thought it was makeup, but nope, she admitted to having a nose job. Kim is divorcing Kanye. Obviously, we all know that, but it, she said it. Yeah. And she said because they have a general difference of opinion on a few things.
You think?
Yes.
Reality, perhaps?
And that is also when Kendall admitted that she was dating Devin Booker. So this is what I find very interesting to me. I am a Kim Kardashian fan. I've always been a Kim Kardashian fan. For better or worse. I think she was kind of like a stuck up bitch in the beginning. She probably still is that way in a lot of ways, but she has been transitioning her career to becoming a lawyer. And
I thought she dropped out. Wait a minute.
She failed the bar. Because she didn't study.
The baby bar.
Fail the bar. That's fine. That's fine. People fail the bar.
Baby
People
bar?
go back and take it again.
Bar?
So here's what it is. So she is working. Wait, hold on. Okay, so she's studying under an apprenticeship, which is an alternate way that you can get your law degree. Sorry, just gotta let my dog out really quick. It's an alternate way that you can get your law degree. You have to study under supervision. So you're in office being mentored by practicing lawyers for 18 hours a week. And then 5 of it has to be like supervised. So you have to be in the office, but then 5 you have to be like with the lawyer studying supervised. In California and a couple of other states, not a lot, it is not a requirement to have a law degree to pass the bar in order to take the bar, I should say. So this is an alternate way. So it's not something that Kim Kardashian.
Oh, she's not going to law school.
No,
she's not going to law school.
If you talk to most lawyers, they will tell you if you want to pass a bar, you should go to law school.
Yeah. I have
Well,
2 lawyers in the family who both
Yeah.
went to law school.
yeah. So after the first year of studying and doing your apprenticeship, you have to pass the baby bar. That's a requirement. So she has failed the baby bar twice. The first time she failed, and the second time she had COVID. And so she was studying like through COVID, and she took the baby bar because you have to take it at specific times. It's only offered at specific times. You can't just take it anytime. So I believe she also took it in June. And then we'll probably find out the results at some point. And then after you pass that, then you can continue studying, and you have 3 more years of an apprenticeship. So it's a 4-year apprenticeship total. So she is doing her apprenticeship through Cut 50, which is a foundation co-founded by Van Jones. And one of the things that she's doing, so this is why I find it very interesting. She first just started researching prison reform, because she started to look in and see how corrupt the prison system really is. And so she had this opportunity to sit in front of our then sitting president, number 45, and request clemency for Alice Marie Johnson. And it was granted. So she was serving a life sentence for a first-time drug offense. And she, all through just taped phone calls, no hand-to-hand drug interaction, no anything. Just she was the person that was just coordinating pickups based off of whatever someone told her, because she needed the extra money and she was super desperate. And so she got a life sentence for that. So Kim Kardashian got her sentence commuted, and she's been released from prison. So she started to realize that she actually can help and, use her quote unquote celebrity for good. So since then, she's worked with Van Jones to enact the First Step Act, which passed in Congress and House. And the purpose of it is helping to release prisoners for good time served, which she has done 17 people released. So she's personally gotten 17 people released. And it just is a general prison reform. We don't have to go into it because it's I looked at it and it's really interesting, but it's, it's a lot of legal jargon and stuff. It's basically a prison reform bill that she was able to help pass.
Nice.
And she personally funded a program called 90 Days to Freedom, which helps release nonviolent drug offenders to commute their sentence from life in prison to being able to get out, based off of again, the kind of the same thing as Alice Marie Johnson. So all of this I find very interesting because, she gets so criticized for being just caring about what her appearance is, and for being having no substance, and just being about famous for being famous, right? So I find it very interesting that she's currently transitioning her career and trying to find more purpose and meaning and using her celebrity for good. And I personally am all for it.
Yeah,
it's a good
I
thing.
think that's some good work. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah.
What's that? No, I was just agreeing. I said, if you do good with your power, right?
I actually think she saw her vapidness.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Hopefully.
what I think. I don't think it was a measure of going from one to the other. I think she actually if this is really her life, and these events are real and not staged. I'm not talking about the prison reform. I'm talking about everything that we've seen on the Kardashians. If we were really watching her life, then imagine how it would be for you to get to that much open honesty for 20 years.
Yeah.
That much transparency. If all that stuff is real, she had to have seen the vapidness. She's you go back into those editing rooms and this, that, you see you see yourself, you see your life replayed. I think she probably had her own come to Jesus moment.
I agree.
Well, it probably helped that she's got
I'm
kids
a
now,
airhead.
right?
like, what am I here for? Like, this is
Mhm.
ridiculous. Like, I don't talk about anything.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
like, yeah, like this is my life. She gets the benefit of having, having to being able to be paid for this process, but like we all kind of need it. I'm very proud of her. If it's real, for
Yeah.
that kind of
Yeah.
like transparency is like we hide ourselves from everybody.
Hmm.
True.
Our real
True.
selves.
Yep.
So yeah, now I can salute them for that. Definitely.
Mhm.
So
If it's real and not edited. Not fake. I mean, like if it's
so is the season over or is it still airing?
It's over. It is
Oh, okay.
over.
What was the final episode like?
It was just like they showed the decision to end the show
Mhm.
because they felt like 20 was a nice round number and they wanted to do something different and they all weren't on board with continuing it anymore. Like Kourtney Kardashian was not into working as much. She's like,
Yeah.
I don't want to work this much. I want to like take care of my kids and I have enough money and I don't need to like have cameras in my face all the time. And they didn't show their kid. They don't like they show their kids on the show, but they don't allow their kids to watch the show. And so they
Mhm.
felt like at this point their kids were just getting old enough that they like had to make the decision either you can start watching it or we can stop it, we can stop filming that. So that was like a little bit part of a reason. But mostly they just, we're talking about like the process of going through of deciding to stop filming, sharing the news with the cast because they've been together for 20 seasons, most of them. So they're really close. They feel like they're family. And it was kind of like, an emotional ending, as you would expect it to
Uh,
be after a show is, decided to end after 20 seasons. So,
Was that Scott guy still on the show? I'm
yes,
thinking of a Scott. There's a Scott guy who was with like Courtney or somebody years ago.
yep,
They
Scott
still
Disick.
together?
So they are not still together. Scott Disick did appear on the reunion show. He was very concerned because he felt like he wasn't going to see everybody as much because Courtney and him are not together. They have 3 kids together, but they are
Mhm.
not like intimately together.
finally 'cause
Uh,
they definitely didn't need to be together, yo.
He seemed like
right,
such a douche. Like any
such a
like
douche,
time I've
right?
seen clips of him, yeah. So I don't know. He
Yeah,
reminds me of remember the original Hills with Lauren and
sure
Heidi.
do.
Heidi's boyfriend. What was his? I don't remember his.
Spencer,
Spencer.
Spencer.
That
Yep,
guy was. Oh my god!
he
Like you
was
could
like
tell
the
some people are
douchiest
just
of
like
the
gold
douches.
diggers. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah. Yep. So that's my Brooksie Bite, the 20th season of Keeping Up with the Kardashians. I am a fan. I think you all should go watch. It's a moment in history, and it changed reality TV forever, for better or for worse.
A huge
nice.
cultural,
Yeah.
iconic
Exactly.
thing.
All
Agreed.
right.
As
Woo.
much, and it says a lot about really where our culture is and was for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
It actually does, because seeing her go from this kind of, socialite connected, you know, uh, star,
Spoiled brat
just
kind of star.
yes,
Yeah.
just star, social star, to someone who's like, hey, I want to make a difference. I see a thing that I want to do, that I can make positive changes with. It really does show you growth, and it shows you the changing of what people want out of celebrities over the last 20 years.
Yeah.
I
Awesome. Thanks
agree.
for that. Yeah. Thanks for that, Brooksy.
Yeah, thank
Thanks,
you very
y'all.
much.
Yeah, that's
And
a low-key big moment. Yeah. So
all right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back, and we're going to talk about America, the motion picture. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Kick ass.
yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. And for this next segment, we are going to be talking about America, the motion picture, which is an Amazon Prime animated spoof comedy with
Netflix.
Netflix.
Netflix. Why did I think it was Amazon Prime?
Oh.
Well, it's Netflix.
What did we watch this week that was Amazon Prime that I couldn't
Tomorrow
watch?
War. Tomorrow War was Amazon Prime.
Oh, I got these things switched. All right. Anyway, that doesn't really matter. Netflix. We are talking the spoof comedy animated America, the motion picture, which has a pretty damn all-star cast, which is basically a not accurate movie about the Revolutionary War.
Depends who you ask.
Depends who you ask. That's right. Maybe they'll be teaching this in Louisiana or Texas.
That's
over
right.
the next
This
couple
is
of
this is the critical race theory they want to teach.
This is
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
You've heard of this. You've seen this, right? You know what that is.
It is unavoidable. It is your destiny.
Is this not why you are here?
Do or do not. There is no try.
Knock that shit off.
So we've got voice actors like Channing Tatum, Jason Mantezuka, Olivia Munn, Will Forte, Killer Mike, Simon Pegg, Andy Samberg. Like this is a pretty wild cast for this thing. So this is directed by Matt Thompson. Matt Thompson is an executive producer of Mythic Quest and Archer, two pretty good shows, two comedy shows. The writer is Dave Callahan. You may know his writings from The Expendables, Zombieland, Mortal Kombat, Wonder Woman 84, and Shang-Chi upcoming.
not a great look.
No, not a huge great list. So I think it's pretty hit and miss because Zombieland's good. George Washington with his arm chainsaws, fighting for the freedom of America after his best friend Abraham Lincoln is murdered by what's his name?
Well,
Sorry.
it starts at the signing of the Declaration of Independence, but in this version, they all get murdered by Benedict Arnold.
Benedict Arnold. That's the word the name I was looking for.
Right.
Benedict Arnold has them all murdered because he is working for King George and rips up the Constitution and then kills Abraham Lincoln, and then it for some reason leaves George Washington alive to get a ragtag group of history together.
George and Abe weren't at the signing of the Declaration because they had theater tickets. So they weren't at the theater that night. So Benedict caught up with them later and took care of Abe. And then George is on his revenge plot now.
Oh, by the way, he's a werewolf. Benedict Arnold.
Benedict Arnold's a werewolf. Yeah.
So if you really want to know how wild this gets, that's basically
well,
it.
just think of the fact that Abe and George are hanging out in the same timeline at the same time, right? and Thomas Edison is there, played by Olivia Munn.
So the funny thing here is they really don't give a crap about the references. They make references to everything from Vietnam to coffees to television to whatever.
There was Paul Revere was doing a whole Fast and Furious riding scene through there.
Yeah,
the whole drag race thing.
The drag race, but on horses.
Right.
But they had neon lights and dancing girls at their horse drag race.
Yeah, they even had red coats in a foot-pedaled helicopter chasing them.
The little Thanos copter going on.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm not even sure how to approach this thing. We'll just say for the plot wise that this has nothing to do with actual American Revolution. George Washington collects a ragtag group of people in order to kill King George and make America free. Like that's it.
King George, who is more like Emperor Palpatine in this version, by the way.
Literally,
including plans for a Death Star. Right.
So I guess I will ask people, what did you think of this as a spoof? We don't get a lot of spoof comedies much anymore. I think animation seems to be the location we're getting this spoof comedy style of these days. Like we're not getting Airplane and we're not getting those kind of things. So now we're getting Lego Batman, and we're getting this American Motion Picture and Archer, and those kind of things are all kind of spoof comedies. What did you guys think of this as a spoof comedy? Was it funny? Did you find yourself continually laughing? Was it overdone? What did you think of it, Keith?
I thought it was pretty funny, and I definitely I thought it was intelligent humor. I thought the whole concept was funny, and I like how they executed it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I definitely got the humor. I don't think that it was forced or corny. It was definitely like I got what they were doing immediately.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, all the jokes felt timely, but not over. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you, Keith. Yeah, I laughed pretty much throughout the whole thing. Like,
whole thing.
yeah, even it. So this kind of reminded me of the old airplane spoof movie. You know, those kind of movies, but in animation form. You know, where you take a topic like scary movie, but you're pulling in all these references and all this weird humor. So I got that kind of feel from it. So that's why I enjoyed it as well. Yeah, what can I say? Like, I thought the cast did a great job. The jokes were on point, and even though it's a very skewed version of, like, obviously you're not gonna watch this as a historical document, right? I should hope not, anyway. But
yeah, first I think that's what I was worried about when I first saw it. I was like, what vision of America is this? Is someone really taking the piss out of this kind of over, like, everybody's a 250-pound linebacker style American history
well, except
guy?
for Martha Washington. Damn.
Yeah, Martha
Yes.
Washington was baddie.
But like the fact that they gender bent Edison into an Asian woman who was all about science, and
the great line was when they were asking her who she was. She's like, "I'm an immigrant like you."
like you.
What? Sorry, no.
What character was it that they made him the frat bro, and he was just the voice of the great American frat
That was
bros?
Sam Adams.
Sam Adams.
Sam Adams. Douchebag extraordinaire.
Him and Geronimo were going at it the whole time too. Geronimo was great.
Geronimo had some of the best no shit lines in the thing, but Sam Adams was a great character to be the sounding board for all of those jokes.
Exactly.
And the fact that Jason Mantzoukas was the voice of Sam Adams, really, I was surprised when I just read that.
Yeah.
That is not who I expected to be the frat bro. I would have expected Channing Tatum, but okay, he also fits the George Washington character. But
yeah, so the ending for me was great too, because they actually didn't just leave it as, you know, silly ending. They kind of made you think a little bit at the end, right? When they were like, oh, and then everybody's going to be free, right? And women are going to have equality, right? And
yeah,
then they cut to, you know.
I think that's probably the most interesting thing that we can touch on here is, what did you guys think of? Because I was worried as it was coming to the end, they were winning the war, they were, all of America were coming together, even people who just didn't exist at that time. I mean, just like what you would consider a group of you would see in a modern American commercial came together to win the war against the British, and then everybody was celebrating and happy. And I was like, uh-oh, how are they going to end this?
Right.
Are they going to do a big kumbaya moment? But they did manage to throw in a last comedy, but pointed comedy.
Exactly, yeah.
Finish. Did you think of any, like, when you saw the ending, did that hit you in any specific way?
I am glad that it didn't end the way that I thought that it was about to end.
Mm-hmm.
If that kind of like resonates.
But yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that.
I thought there was about to be some more happy-go-lucky ending. Like I'm glad that it took the turn that it took, and yeah. So that would be my biggest, like that's the biggest feeling I had on that whole part of it.
Yeah,
Like,
they didn't go we're all free now and everybody's equal and huzzah, we're the best.
American exceptionalism.
Right.
But like just how the rest of the movie was, the ending was definitely it was. I'm glad they went that way, but it also wasn't a surprise.
Right.
Yeah.
It was a very
so-
aware movie.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to put it, is aware. Definitely aware of what it is, where it is, and what it's talking about. And that's hard to pull off. That really is not easy. All right, why don't we grade this sucker?
You know what though? I'm really surprised by this movie because I hadn't heard much about it
At all.
It hasn't really hit.
Until like 2 weeks before it was released, And I was like, "What? Where did this come from?" But
I heard about it from us, you guys.
Yeah.
I remember seeing the trailer like a couple months ago, but that was about it. Like,
Yeah, it could be, and then I just forgot about it. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, and Netflix doesn't seem to be pushing it by any means.
Yeah.
I don't know. For the cast that's in it, I would have expected a little
more marketing, more promotion. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Should we do grades?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do grades. Keith, what did you think of America, the Motion Picture?
I'm giving it a full A.
Ooh,
nice.
Big number.
Yeah. Clean.
That's not a number. That's a letter. Yeah. But okay.
We forgive you.
Hey, now you know how well I did in school. All right, Mike.
Yeah, for me, A minus.
Right.
Definitely up there. Like, definitely rewatchable. Like, I actually watched it twice because I wanted somebody else to watch it, check it out. So we watched it together again. And
yeah, I'd like to watch it in a crowd of just like people having fun with it. I think it would really, really be a blast there. I'm gonna give it a B plus, but I think I could be talked into an A minus. But I'm gonna start with a B plus. I did enjoy myself watching it, and I think the end being so self-aware, I was like, where are we going? Where are we going? Where are we going? And they corrected, and it was fun. Actually, I like that the baseball killing blow was probably my favorite part of the whole thing. That was a lot of fun, the way they finished off. All right. Oh, and Sam Adams taking the soccer ball and wrapping the tongue around it and turning it into a football.
Yes.
Little things. It's the little things.
It's the little things.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks. We are going to go to the next topic, which looks
actually,
like
let's go to break.
I know we're going to go to break. I'm telling people what the next time is. We're going to talk about the Tomorrow War after the break, 30 years into the future. Come back with us.
We're back in 30 years?
Yeah. Hey, everybody, we are back, and we're going to talk the Tomorrow War. This one actually on Amazon Plus. This is the 2021 action sci-fi starring Chris Pratt as... Oh, I should probably be on the right page to talk what I'm talking about. A family man is drafted to fight in a future war, the Tomorrow War, where the fate of humanity relies on his ability to confront the past. Well, that's not entirely accurate.
I get what they did there.
Yeah. So let's give a little basics on the Tomorrow War. So Chris Pratt, a scientist, because your science teacher was always, I think these things are all being written by science teachers. The science teacher is looking to get his dream job, but is turned down, which doesn't affect the rest of the movie. And then at a soccer match, which America doesn't watch, a group of 20-somethings appear at a light show and tell the world that 30 years in the future, a war is brewing with aliens, and that the only way to try to fight this is to come back in time and draft as many people from the past as possible, bring them into the future to fight this alien invasion.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
You've heard of this. You've seen this, right? You know what that is.
It is unavoidable. It is your destiny.
Is this not why you are here?
Do or do not. There is no choice.
Knock that shit off.
That's pretty right.
Sounds about
Pretty
right.
accurate.
Mhm.
Okay. So, let's talk about this movie a little bit. What did you guys think of this premise? I thought it was an interesting premise. It's not the first time traveling alien invasion, war movie we've ever seen. It may be the first one Brookesie sat through, but it's not
Definitely.
the first one we've ever seen. But I thought the premise itself on its face sounded fun and interesting. What'd you guys think? Let's start with Mike.
Yes. The concept was sound, and it definitely was interesting.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
One of the things that I actually liked about the movie.
Mhm.
There's a
Yeah,
movie
I
that
like-
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I like the whole time travel thing too. Yeah.
And they did it well, like in my opinion. Even explaining, like there were some holes in like some of the overall concept. Like if you're gonna come back in time, then you should be coming back in time to go and eradicate what you think was the source of whatever would now be the war in your time. So like I thought it was just silly, kind of like, oh, we're coming back to bring people to the future to fight, when you should be having people concentrate on finding where the hell those aliens are right now in the past.
Mhm.
All right, we'll get to the really odd storytelling mechanic in a minute. I'm going to ask Brookesie, what did you think of the concept here as you were forced to do some homework on not your normal?
I feel like
choice.
as a concept, it was semi-interesting. As we all discussed, I'm not a big sci-fi fan at all. I'm not a sci-fi fan at all. Not that I'm not a really big sci-fi fan. I don't like sci-fi at all. But the concept was interesting. I felt like there were like I don't know, like when they went to the future, they were just like dropped out of the sky and like most of them were killed. It just was like, why? Like you're sending people to the future, you don't you know what I mean? He was like, oh, the whatever it is, the way we send people to the future is held on by like, I can't remember the reference he made, but basically it's like super janky how they get people to the future. And then at one point it shuts off altogether. They can't get people to the future. And I'm like, I don't know. That seemed like kind of dumb to me. If you're going to have this whole like future war, figure out how to get to the future, you know?
Yeah, I think you're the more sci-fi we make you watch, Brooks, the more you're gonna find that most of them are pretty janky setups that you can just poke a lot of holes in. And for this movie, I think the setup is sound. I think what holds this whole thing together is pretty much Chris Pratt. So we're gonna go to the next thing, and we're gonna ask you about the characters here. I think Chris Pratt is his ability to do some like comedy, action, motion, unlike someone say Vin Diesel, manages to carry this movie and make it work, even if
Do elements of
there's a lot of
Fast 9 have to bleed into every review now? Is that what's gonna go?
Hey,
I would just like to point out that Fast 9 has made $500 million in the box office. So
Because it gives
Future War wishes they had Vin Diesel starring in it.
I'm not saying that there's not an audience or a popularity to Fast 9. I'm just using a name. I could use other names too, to how much I think Chris Pratt is doing a good job holding a movie together with duct tape and chewing gum here. So,
Yeah,
what do
but
you guys
those,
think?
like-
Did you think Chris Pratt held up in this movie as a leading man?
Yeah, I thought he was great. I thought he was fine. Like he reminded me why he's a good leading man for an action movie. Like I think he's great as Star-Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, he's got that comedic timing from back in the days on Parks and Recreation, right? He's showing his chops as an action guy in Guardians in the Marvel movies, in Jurassic World. I am not a fan of the Jurassic World movies, but I think he does a good job as the lead there, right? And this one, I think he held it as well. I'm going to give a shout out to J.K. Simmons, who did a great job in this one as well, with some good
Buff
comedic
J.K.
timing.
Simmons. Our first real looking at a good giant buff J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, exactly. And Yvonne Strahovski playing his daughter in this one in the future. I
People
thought
don't
she did
know
great.
she's from Chuck. I'm sure she's from other things.
Right.
But I know her from Chuck.
Sarah Walker.
That's right. And also, I'm going to call out Sam Richardson, the actual comedy relief guy.
Right.
Which I like that it wasn't just Chris Pratt being the comedy relief. They actually had someone else be the full-time comedy relief where he could
But the good thing about this one, was when you had Chris Pratt around serious people, he would crack a joke. But when it was time for him to be serious, he would be serious, and Sam would crack the jokes. You know what I mean? They knew it wasn't both of them always just cracking jokes all the time.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
They
That's
kind
a
of
great
knew,
point.
yeah, when they had to play off each other and who had to do which role, you know what I mean?
Keith, was there
he played a geologist in this one, by the way. So, right? Wasn't it a geologist?
Yeah, he worked as a geologist. So Keith, was there a character that you really liked that stood out to you that really held this together for you?
Who stood out? Chris Pratt. He produced this movie, or he directed this movie, or something.
No, he didn't direct this movie.
Chris McKay directed this movie. I think Yvonne Strahovski is the daughter in the future.
I want to say her, but
no.
I think she did a solid job. Like she hit the emotional beats she was supposed to hit. She was rather convincing.
Yeah.
As the kid, in both levels, in the action beats and in the emotional beats, and I think she handled that really well, which is fun. I have not seen her since television, so it's more interesting to finally see her in a movie role, which I liked her in.
Yeah.
Brooks, was there any character or anything that you liked or particularly disliked?
I did kind of like, what's his name, the dad. I was kind of into him.
J.K. Simmons. Yeah.
J.K. Simmons.
Yes.
Yeah.
J.K. Simmons. Yeah. I was kind of into him. What?
He got jacked.
Yeah.
Yeah. He definitely got jacked. He was working out in the gym with what's it? Jim's Story. Jim's Gym Stories or whatever.
Gym Stories.
Gym time with Jim.
Gym time with Jim. There we go. I liked him in the movie. I just I don't know. I did like Sam Richardson, the other guy, the comic relief. He was kind of interesting just because he provided that comic relief. The whole daughter brought you to the future because you're a scientist, and she knew that he's the one that was so far-fetched to me. I don't know.
We're gonna to the story. It's a thing we need
to
actually fully discuss because
I didn't like how you guys said you really felt her character. I was not feeling her character. I don't know Chris Pratt in anything. I never watched Parks and Rec. I know. But I don't know. He also just wasn't doing it for me. So I'm gonna say my favorite character was J.K. Simmons. Final answer.
Oh, it's a good one. J.K. Simmons is great. I like the interaction, and we'll get to the story eventually, but the preview of what Chris Pratt's character could become that he disliked in his father. Really, when his daughter says to him the thing about what he's going to become, I think that all worked very, very well. That whole thing was a really good setup between the two. All right. the next important thing in an action sci-fi movie is the action. What did you guys think of the action, the design of the aliens? I really love these aliens. I thought they were great, and they showed a great bright light aliens, not like everything's in the shadow. There's only one really Harry Potter on a troll moment. Everything else was good. What did you guys think, Keith? What did you think of the aliens?
I definitely liked the alien design. Yeah, I thought they were like actually even scary enough. Like they would like normally they're not really like you're like, oh, like okay, I see a lot of detail went into it, but they're not really scary. Like they were kind of scary. And
Right.
I actually appreciate that. I like what the movie did in terms of building in the suspense around us first seeing them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, first is the binoculars they're looking at them through, and like, you kind of can see like they do that on purpose. Obviously, like we're looking through the binoculars, like you can only see these little specks. Like it was very hard, but they're looking so like they're very much touched by it. Like so, you get this buildup of what these of what these things might eventually look like even when they started peeking in when they were going down the stairs and like so I appreciate all that and then when you actually saw the aliens they kind of delivered. I think the yeah. So yeah, like that.
Mike, what'd you think of the aliens?
Yeah, I also like
the
design.
action in general.
Yeah, I also like those aliens and a lot of the fight sequences, the attack sequences in general. So the one thing I like right away, pretty much when I saw them, I was like, and they started doing their thing. I was like, yeah, these aren't the guys in charge. You know what I mean? Like they didn't seem smart enough, and it turned out to be the case. Like I figured they were like
drones.
Yeah, basically just infantry for whoever's actually calling the shots, right? But as we find out, they were just cargo, basically, right?
I didn't think they would do the male female angle. Like I didn't think they would do that. Like that was interesting because yes, I quickly gathered that they weren't like there's something controlling them or this that.
Right.
And the other. I didn't think it was like I like the direction they went with that.
Yeah, the honeybee or ant angle kind of thing. Yeah.
Colony.
Brookesie, what do you think of the aliens and the action of this movie that you so wanted to watch?
I mean, I agree with Keith. The aliens were scary, different. I don't know. Like, I don't know why I have a hard time with aliens in general. I mean, aliens like that in general. Like, I firmly believe there are other species out there. But those kind of aliens, I just have a hard time with it all. It just like it does seem scary. It just doesn't seem very realistic. And maybe that's where I go wrong with sci-fi because I expect
that's
it
where
to
the
be realistic.
fiction comes in. That
Right. Right. I know.
I'd say my favorite part because the aliens, anything a new alien, especially a scary alien, sometimes hard. I like that they went with white. White is not a normal alien color. I think the fact that they were highly reflective, easy to see. Like once you notice them, it's not like they were hiding too much. They came in waves and groups in large numbers. But I think my favorite addition was the spike shooting arms. Like that added a whole other element where you have to dodge these spears from a distance. Like normally you can like get behind, just run away, keep a couple of steps ahead, but these guys are shooting at you. So that's a whole new little bit different level of alien danger, not just getting bitten or eaten.
There's little things about this movie that I appreciate that they put in that let me know that they thought about maybe certain questions that the audience might have.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. Yep.
It was like the great reveal where the people came back from the past was at like a televised soccer match. Now, half the world is probably watching that match. Like You didn't come back at a baseball game or football that would have made it very, very U.S. centric. Like
Right.
like. So there's an immediate understanding, like, oh, half the world really just saw these people come back in time. So it's left to explain.
Yeah. So our next segment's going to be the story, and this is where we're going to have, hopefully, we're going to go back and forth here a little bit because there is some really good, some smart stuff here, and then just some like holes you can drive a truck into.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we'll start with the time travel mechanic. I thought this was a pretty solid, very basic mechanic. They explained it very simply, very easily. You got something attached to your arm, and then there's a machine at one end of the time stream and where you are, and they can suck you back and forth. That's it.
It's basically a wormhole through time.
Yeah,
right. So you got one fixed point in the future and one fixed point in the past, and those move along.
And it's a river, so you can do the raft metaphor. I thought was very easy.
Love how they explained it away.
I guess the next part to talk about then, if we all agree the time travel was good and smart and interesting, was the plan very good on how to take care of the aliens, or did you feel there was a lot of stupidity going on in this movie with characters?
If you went to all the trouble of creating time travel, I'm still stuck on this. If you went to all this trouble of creating time travel to go back in the past, why would it be to get people? Like, why would the primary purpose of that be to get people to bring them to the future for bodies for this war? Like, why, if you created time travel and you were able to go back in time, like, why wouldn't you just even like fight them then? Like why wouldn't that be the find them then, remedy this then, and we won't have to deal with this in the future? Like, why wouldn't that be?
I think that's where the ending kind of breaks from the whole middle, in that I figured, oh, you can't affect the future by changing the past. So you're just picking up extra bodies to fight this war because you can't affect the future. But in the end, he does affect the future.
He does it anyway. In the end, he does it. So why didn't we start with that plan? Like, it's weird that we came to that plan during the middle of the movie. Like, oh, now I have the vial and I have the serum, and but why wasn't that the focus from the beginning?
Yeah, there's a couple of things like that where it's like, so they're trying to get the queen captured so they can take vials of her blood to do stuff, right? But they know where the queen is. They know how to injure the queen. Why don't they just blow the queen up? Why don't they just strafe the entire area with nukes? That's completely void of humans and just fuck them over. Why are we trying to capture the queen? And why are you sending humans in to like face to face with the queen in her little lair? Like, this whole capture the queen thing was really weird to me, on top of the other stuff that we're talking about. Did you guys think that something was odd about that?
I could see where they couldn't nuke it if they were buried deep inside a mountain or something. But sending just the ragtag squad, why?
But if you can send,
I would have went with a battalion,
Yeah, you can send people in there. You can send bombs in there. Like, if you can send people, you can send people with bombs.
Yeah, they didn't need the serum. If they had found the place, just get in there and set explosives.
I guess maybe they were figuring that there's more than one queen, like there's more than one female. So like,
but they never said that.
Yeah,
that was just my assumption. But again, another hole. If you want to make it one.
And if you're going to the future, they're like, you're not training people to go to the future. You're not giving them a mission. You're basically like already saying they're going to die when they go to the future. So why are we putting people there? Like, that's the other thing. It's like, You didn't even train
This
anybody.
this is why the fact that they came to that idea of like finding like these guys are fighting this war for however long, and like it takes his wife to say that, oh, like maybe they were already there. Nobody thought about that.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
nobody
This
thought
is
about
the
that.
last.
Like,
This is the biggest thing is the realization that maybe they didn't crash land that day that they invaded. That this was such
Right.
a
like
wild
maybe we can't find
thing.
the ship because it wasn't like, so nobody thought about that as a theory, a postulate. Nobody thought. It's like she is the one. But I guess, hey, look at God.
But also, and then he approaches the military and he's like, "Hey, we could possibly end this war if we find these things." And they're like,
And the dude
nah,
is like, nah,
it's okay.
cool.
Right.
Like, we're
I'm
gonna
good. Pass. Yeah.
we're probably gonna kill ourselves with politics anyway. So
well, and then you need to that one kid in class is the volcano expert. Like you
Right.
don't actually approach real full
Right.
time like experts
You're
in
like,
the
I know
field
somebody, a kid in my class.
who
Right.
really likes
everything about
volcanoes.
Yeah.
But you knew
I mean,
that
when
from
they
the
were
time.
like,
You knew that from exactly the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Like,
You
okay,
knew that
he's
was gonna
Once they
happen.
said
You're gonna have
volcano
a
again,
role.
yeah, you
Mhm.
know he was coming back to the kid, right? So,
Like, you're gonna have
But-
a role in the future of this movie.
But
mhm.
okay, so I'm going to ask you what that kid provided. He said, they asked him how volcanic ash from somewhere would get to Siberia, right?
Yeah.
But why does that matter? Just go to Siberia. Like it wasn't like he
Yeah,
narrowed
but Siberia is a big place. Too,
But he didn't-
right? You can't
but he
just.
didn't narrow it down. The kid didn't narrow down where in Siberia. He just said how you would
Yeah,
get
but then
volcanic ash.
it gave them a time period to search. It gave them a different time period to search.
Oh, okay. So
I might have to
So
rewatch
how
He
that.
didn't
deep
narrow
it
down.
would be.
He didn't narrow down the place so much as he narrowed down the time period.
Mm-hmm.
okay, so
So
he
that gives you a better idea of like, now you can go by like, oh, the landmass growth and then this, that, and the other, like maybe like the ice melt, this,
Right.
that, and the other. So you could kind of like geologically, and I like how they threw the little global warming.
Yeah, I like that too.
yeah, that was smart.
So
That
it
was
was
smart.
because it was interesting to me because it was the aliens are coming to kill us, but climate change is what really killed us.
But climate change is what caused it.
Yeah.
That's right.
I really like I like the plug. I like
Yeah.
That was a good plug. All right. So what did you guys think of the band goes to Siberia? No problems. Just get on a plane, fly to Siberia. It's okay. And then within an hour, they find the alien spaceship. It's good, nice and quick. They didn't spend a lot of time, and yeah, and then I think the revelation that they were just cargo going somewhere else, or they were possibly meant to.
Okay, let's talk about this. Let's
Mhm.
talk about that.
I think this is a really interesting
the very
idea.
moment that they find those other aliens, it becomes a whole new movie.
Something
Like, this is a
really
brand new-
interesting.
This is a brand new movie right now. Like okay, like I feel a little bit gypped if there's not there's not more of the story to that. Like, who are these different ones? Like, who?
Right.
Like
The mastermind.
were they really bringing them here, or did they crash en route to bringing them someplace else? Like,
we need a prequel now.
we need a prequel. Like, we
Please,
definitely.
God, no.
Oh hell
What?
yeah!
Oh hell
Yes,
yeah!
but I can
that's
I
imagine
would
a
rather
cool
see a
right
prequel of this
there.
than that
It's
prequel
the
of Army of the Dead that's coming out. For sure. 100% for sure. Sorry.
Yeah, the idea that they have these aliens is kind of like a weapon they drop on planets to take over the planet is a really
to
fascinating
clear the
idea.
planet out before they move in. Like, okay, like just drop them. They've engineered them for any environment, because obviously they definitely were very hard to kill. Like you just clear the but was that But was that the reason? Like, is there another story there too? Is this
Right?
Yeah,
Are they breeding them? Did they capture them?
exactly?
It's kind of like a
Exactly.
better alien movie than in that
The last
way.
three.
That idea than some of the other alien movies where they're like, yeah, just eggs. Yeah, we find some eggs. Like this whole idea of using these things is a pretty cool idea.
Right.
But whatever the
Um,
case, it's a whole new movie right there. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
as soon as they walked into the spaceship and saw that, I had tons of questions, and I knew they were going to get unanswered.
Right.
I knew they were going to be.
Yeah. All right. So, what do you guys think of the very last thing of J.K. Simmons and Chris Pratt fighting the Queen, Alien Queen? Was that fun? Cool? Crappy?
I liked that part,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, you like
Yeah.
you like
Of
the
course,
dad
because
and the
it's
son
most
getting
cliche.
together.
Well, I mean, it was super obvious that was going to happen,
Yeah.
right? But like, you
It
know,
was
you kind of
emotionally
wanted to
charged.
see it. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
And I like how
Had not teleported that second.
they did a little twist where he stabs the alien in the arm and poisons her, but she rips her own arm off. That was good.
Oh
I
yeah.
thought it was a
And
wrap. I was like, oh wow.
yeah,
Wow.
I listened to another podcast recently, and I forget which one. I'm sorry, I would plug you if I remembered. But they said, wouldn't it have been cool if actually him going to the future and getting this and coming back actually started the alien invasion? Like it was this loop. Like the idea that he was trying to end the alien invasion in the past starts the alien invasion because they thought it out
because
quicker.
that queen got away.
Right. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, one little change and this even if you showed like one alien getting away, you could do that and it would make this movie change it instantly.
What would have and should have happened is that the queen in the future remembered him.
Oh shit.
That's what should happen.
That would be cool.
The queen,
But
she got
anyway,
away. She's scarred for life. She has the one arm, and she remembers him.
yeah. Yeah, they could have a few tweaks here could have really made this like jump this up a huge level. But
Like, we don't even know if there's another plane.
yeah.
Another
Well,
ship.
So I mean, that's a good idea and all, but then in that version, the daughter doesn't survive in the future, so you don't get the happy ending. You know what I mean? And I think most
that's the
people
point.
would have wanted.
It kills us all. Yes, you're right. That is a very sad, nasty ending.
Yeah.
All right. I will say before we wrap up, so this was directed by Chris McKay. You know him from the Lego Batman movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it was written by a guy named Zach Dean. You don't know anything he's done. He's written. So this is all new. I want to say pretty good job overall, Amazon. So let's give some grades for the Tomorrow War. Mike, what do you grade the Tomorrow War?
Solid B for me.
Solid B, nice. All right, Brookesie, what do you grade the Tomorrow?
I'm gonna go C plus.
Oh, no D for doo-doo. This is definitely better.
No D for doo-doo. It was watchable. There were moments where it was interesting. I was like engaged in the characters mostly, or at least 50% of the time. And I did want to see like the son and father kind of reunite. So, you know, a little bit more than D for doo-doo. So going C plus.
Good. Keith, what do you grade?
I think a B plus. I think a B plus is in order. B plus. They gave me what I even with the plot holes, they actually still crafted a very great movie. It was suspenseful. There was times that I was holding my breath. I didn't even realize it. Like had to step away from the movie, have a cigarette break. It was just it was a good movie without having to be a great movie, but it was good. I liked it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's a B. I liked it overall. I like the look of it. I like the design of the aliens. I like the action. It's just all the plot really kind of prevents it from being great. But it's almost there. It was like one of those movies that you're like, I'm having fun, I'm watching it, I'm invested, I'm enjoying it, I'm liking the characters. But there's something weird, and you're just kind of questioning some of the things that are happening, which kind of takes some of the enjoyment away. But overall, I liked it. I had a good time with it. B. Whew. All right. It is kind of late, so we're not going to do any wind down, shut down, or any of that fun stuff. We're gonna end quick today. So I'm gonna thank everybody for joining us. I'm gonna ask Mike to tell you tell other people where they can find us.
We are Heroes Peak on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the bell in the corner and share our videos. Let people know. Leave a comment below. Let us know
Leave a
what
comment.
you thought. Let us know what you thought of American Motion Picture and the
text
Tomorrow
James.
War. And don't text James.
Don't just text James. Leave a comment.
Right.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining
All right,
us
thanks
again.
for watching.
Guys, thank you for joining me, and I had a great time. We'll see you later.
All right.